Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we get straight to the essential insights. Today we're plunging into, well, a surprisingly huge industry. It's one that's way more vibrant, global, and economically significant than you might think. We're talking about the lipstick and lipstains market. And our guide for this journey is a really fascinating deep dive from Cognitive Market Research. They've given us this incredibly detailed look at market trends, forecasts. It's a unique window into global consumer habits, really.
Oh, absolutely. And the sheer scale, it's pretty eye-opening. Globally, we're talking nearly $20.8 billion in 2021, but it's definitely not stopping there. Projections show it climbing to almost $24.8 billion by 2025. And then get this, a staggering $35.2 billion by 2033. That's growing at a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of about 4.5%.
Wow, nearly 4.5%. That's huge. So our mission here, for you listening, is to unpack these big numbers. We want to see which regions are really pushing that growth, understand why it's growing like that, and pinpoint the most interesting shifts so you can be truly well-informed.
Okay, let's unpack this. So we've got the big picture. Let's maybe start with the traditional heavyweights. North America, for instance, it's always had a huge chunk of the global market, right?
That's right. It's dominated for a long time. And the numbers show it. Over $6.4 billion back in 2021. And it's on track to hit, let's say, $7.5 billion in 2025, and then potentially break $10.2 billion by 2033.
$10 billion.
Yeah.
Just for North America.
Exactly. But what's really key here, I think, isn't just the size, it's the consistency. The growth is remarkably steady. It really suggests, a deeply ingrained consumer behavior. These aren't just impulse buys, they're staples.
Right. And if we drill down a bit within North America, the U.S. is the giant, obviously. Over $5.3 billion in 2021 alone. Projected to reach more than $8.3 billion by 2033. That's massive.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. is definitely the anchor.
But Canada's strong too, right? Around $607 million in 2021, heading towards over $1 billion by 2033.
Yep, over $1.05 billion projected for Canada.
And Mexico too, over $500 million in 2021, looks like nearly $900 million by 2033.
$889 million, yeah, so it's a broad strength across the region.
So the takeaway is stability. Consistent demand.
Exactly. What's fascinating, like I said, is just how stable that growth pattern is across all three. It speaks to real resilience, very steady markets.
Okay, interesting. Now let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe, another major player historically. Their numbers, over $4.1 billion in 2021 and projected to climb past $6.6 billion by 2033. What's the story in Europe?
Well, Europe also has its clear leaders. Germany really stands out. They were pulling in over $826 million in 2021. Then you have France, around $601 million, and the UK, $551 million. Yeah. Italy's significant, too, at over $413 million.
So those are the big four, kind of.
Pretty much. Though, other markets like Russia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, even Denmark and Luxembourg, they all add up. Russia was over $300 million. Spain, just over $300 million, too.
Right.
But yeah, the core strength is Germany, France, UK, Italy. And like North America, it's about the sustained growth. Germany is projected to hit over $1.4 billion by 2033. And the UK is expected to reach over $915 million. Solid, steady expansion.
Okay, steady in the West. But now, here's where you said it gets really interesting. Let's pivot to Asia Pacific. The report flags this as the fastest growing region. Not just fast, but the fastest. What's driving that?
Oh, it's absolutely dynamic. Asia Pacific was already the largest market in 2021, almost $7 billion then. Nearly $6.96 billion, to be precise. But its trajectory.
Wow.
It's projected to explode past $12.7 billion by 2033.
$12.7 billion.
Yeah. This isn't just adding numbers. It's like fundamentally shifting the industry center of gravity, the scale, the speed. It's transformative.
And within APAC, China must be a huge part of that story.
Huge. China was almost $2.2 billion in 2021. And the forecast, nearly $4.1 billion by 2033, almost doubling.
Incredible. But you also mentioned India. That caught my eye. A CAGR over 6%. That's way above the global average.
That's a great point to highlight. India's growth is really accelerating. That 6.135% CAGR is significant.
Yeah.
They started at about $849 million in 2021, and they're projected to hit over $1.7 billion by 2033.
So what does that acceleration tell us?
It suggests, a combination of things. A rapidly emerging middle class, more disposable income, plus huge exposure to global beauty trends, probably accelerated by social media.
Makes sense. And other key players in APAC?
Oh, yeah. Japan is very significant, over $1.1 billion in 2021. South Korea, over $500 million in K-beauty influence there. Australia, around $391 million. And Singapore is another one showing really strong growth. From about $334 million in 2021, they're projected to nearly double to over $630 million by 2033.
So K-beauty, J-beauty, these aren't just trends, they're actually shaping the market figures globally.
Absolutely. If you connect it to the bigger picture, the innovation coming out of South Korea and Japan, the specific formulations, the marketing, it's having a massive impact worldwide, fueled by that huge domestic and regional demand in Asia-Pacific.
Okay, so Asia-Pacific is clearly the future powerhouse, but the growth story isn't just there, right? What about other regions? South America, Middle East, Africa?
It's definitely worth looking at. They're also showing impressive growth, indicating this is a truly global expansion of beauty consumption. Take South America. Market value was over $1.4 billion in 2021, forecasted to hit over $2.5 billion by 2033.
And who leads there? Brazil.
Brazil is the leader, yeah. Over $524 million in 2021, followed by Colombia, around $258 million, and Argentina, about $242 million. So solid growth across the key markets.
Okay. And the Middle East?
The Middle East was nearly $1 billion in 2021, $976 million, projected to reach almost $1.7 billion by 2033. Key players there in 2021 were Saudi Arabia, leading with over $260 million, then Turkey, near $195 million, and the UAE, over $160 million.
Interesting regional dynamics there. And Africa?
Africa contributed over $768 million in 2021, expected to reach over $1.3 billion by 2033. South Africa is the major player, over $327 million in 2021. Nigeria is also notable, almost $100 million that year.
So looking at South America, the Middle East, Africa, what's the underlying trend?
Well, it really raises interesting questions, right, about the evolving consumer base, rising incomes, access to products in these rapidly developing economies. How does that translate into global demand? It's clearly happening.
Okay, so we've toured the globe, seen the numbers, let's bring it together. What does this all mean for you, our listener, someone curious about these global market shifts?
Well, I think the core insight from the source is pretty clear. While the established markets, North America and Europe, they remain strong, steady, valuable. The future growth, the real dynamic energy in the lipstick and lipstains market, it's fundamentally being shaped by these emerging economies. That sharp rise we see in Asia-Pacific, South America, Africa, it's not just adding volume, it's actually redefining the market center. It shows a kind of democratization of beauty, you know.
Democratization of beauty, I like that.
Yeah, it's not just a Western-centric industry anymore. You have rising middle classes, increased connectivity everywhere, creating totally new centers for demand, for trends, for innovation.
So this deep dive, it really highlights not just the sheer scale, which is massive, but these fascinating geographical shifts. For you listening, tracking these trends, these numbers aren't just stats on a page. They signal huge shifts in consumer power, economic landscapes. It's kind of amazing how one item, like lipstick, can tell such a big story.
It really can. And maybe that leads to a final thought for you to consider. As this growth continues in emerging markets, how might that influence global trends? Not just demand, but actual product development, the marketing we see, maybe even cultural ideas about beauty itself in the coming years. Think about that. How a seemingly small cosmetic item reflects these huge global economic and cultural transformations. It's pretty profound, actually.
Welcome to the deep dive. You know, we love taking topics that seem simple, maybe even every day, and just peeling back the layers.
Finding all that complexity underneath.
Exactly. And today we're looking at something, well, you might even have it with you right now, lipstick. Or lip stains. We're talking about the global lipstick and lipstains market. And it's way more than just color, isn't it? It taps into identity, culture, some really cool innovation, and, yeah, confidence.
Absolutely. And for this deep dive, we're leaning heavily on insights from cognitive market research. Their analysis really gives us the foundation to grasp what's happening in this incredibly vibrant market.
Right. So our mission for you, listening in, is to unpack all that. What's driving things forward? What are the maybe unexpected challenges? And what does the future look like? Think of it as your shortcut to getting smart about a surprisingly big piece of the global economy.
Well, let's get into it.
Okay, so first off, demand for lip color is just soaring globally. It seems like people everywhere are seeing beauty as, you know, more than just routine. It's personal grooming, sure, but also self-expression.
A big part of it.
So the big question is, what's really fueling this massive surge?
Well, the research points strongly to one thing initially. This real consumer focus on aesthetics, personal grooming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's especially powerful with Gen Z, millennials too. Social media, beauty influencers, they've kind of transformed makeup, haven't they?
Totally. It's like a tool for expressing identity now.
Exactly. You see it on Instagram, YouTube tutorials are everywhere, beauty blogs. They create this space for experimenting, for visibility.
And lip products become,
What?
what, like must-have accessories?
Kind of, yeah, almost like cultural symbols in some circles.
Yeah.
Cognitive market research really highlights how these digital platforms have fundamentally shifted behavior.
How so?
Well, expressing yourself isn't just personal anymore. It's visible, you share it, it can spread globally almost instantly. The speed of trends now is just, well, it's kind of mind-blowing.
Right, dictating what brands need to make, like, right now.
Precisely. Production cycles, marketing,
Mm.
it all has to move much faster.
And that speed, that need for newness, it leads right into the next driver, doesn't it? Product innovation.
Yes, definitely. Brands aren't just keeping up, they're pushing the envelope.
So we're seeing what? Wider shade ranges?
Yeah.
Finally catering to all skin tones?
That's a big part. But also advanced formulas, things that are genuinely long-lasting or smudge-proof or really hydrating.
Okay, but here's something the research really flags the rise of clean beauty, right? Vegan,
Yeah.
cruelty-free, organic lip stuff. That's not just niche anymore.
Not at all. It's moving mainstream. Cognitive market research shows it resonating with a huge and growing segment of consumers who are just more conscious about their choices.
That's a really critical point. This whole shift towards ethical, health-conscious buying, it must change everything for brands.
It does. It's not just about the ingredients in the tube. It's sourcing, packaging, the whole life cycle.
So is clean becoming the baseline now? Like not just a nice to have?
It's heading that way, I think. It's becoming table stakes in many markets. Transparency about what's not in the product is almost as important as what is.
Interesting. Okay, third driver. Urbanization and rising incomes, especially in emerging markets.
Yes, that's having a massive impact. What the research points to is how access has changed. E-commerce is huge, obviously.
Right.
And also more specialty beauty stores popping up. Just means premium products, niche brands. They're reaching people they couldn't reach before.
So it's kind of democratizing beauty, making it more accessible globally.
Exactly. It's a great example of how economic growth plus digital reach opens everything up. It's not just about having more money, it's having more ways, more channels to actually buy these diverse products.
Okay, so growth is strong, innovation is happening, but it can't all be smooth sailing.
No, definitely not. Like any booming market, there are significant challenges. Restraints, as the research calls them.
And the first big one seems to be health concerns about ingredients.
Yes. Consumers are much more aware now. Worries about things like parabens or lead, salads. You hear about them more.
So people are actually reading labels, checking ingredients.
They really are, scrutinizing them, and actively looking for natural alternatives, which naturally puts a lot of pressure on the big established brands
You reformulate.
to reformulate, to be more transparent, maybe even re-educate their customers about the changes. It's a big shift.
It really shows the power of informed consumers, doesn't it? Pushing for safer stuff.
It's fundamental. The research suggests this isn't just a passing fad. It's what people expect now. Proactive transparency.
But how are those big legacy brands actually handling that pivot? It must be tough not to alienate loyal customers.
It's definitely a tightrope walk. Some manage it well, communicate openly. Others maybe struggle more. Which brings us neatly to the next restraint. Competition.
Ugh, yes. It feels like there are so many brands now.
Fierce competition, absolutely.
Yeah.
Local brands, global giants, indie startups. Everyone wants a piece of the pie. And that inevitably squeezes profit margins.
And the research mentions price sensitivity, especially in places like Asia and Latin America.
Correct. In many regions, affordability is still a primary driver. So luxury brands find it harder to gain really broad dominance there. Price matters a lot.
So in that kind of crowded, price-conscious space,
Right.
how do brands even stand out? Is it just about price?
It can't be just price. It's also about unique formulas, maybe clever marketing, the brand story, celebrity links sometime.
A mix of everything.
A constant juggling act, yes. And then there's the third challenge. Trends change so fast.
Oh, yeah. The life cycle seems incredibly short now.
It is. Driven by social media, influencers, quick celebrity launches, trends can explode and then fade really quickly.
Which forces brands into this relentless cycle of innovation, right?
Yeah.
Always chasing the next big thing.
Exactly. And that's expensive.
Yep.
R&D costs go up. Plus, there's always the risk you'll make too much of something or just completely misjudge what people actually want next month.
It sounds like fast fashion, but for your face.
That's a good way to put it. It demands incredible agility from brands.
Hmm.
Predict, react, almost instantly.
But surely there are still, like, classic shades, things that last longer than a TikTok trend? How do brands balance that?
That's the key strategic question. Balancing novelty with those timeless classics.
Yeah.
Often it means segmenting their lines, having the trendy stuff alongside the core, reliable sellers.
Okay, so we've got the drivers, the challenges. Let's look ahead. What does the future hold? What are the big trends reshaping lipsticks and lipstains according to the research?
Well, the biggest one, echoing what we discussed earlier, is the continued, even accelerating shift towards clean, vegan, and sustainable beauty.
And what does that mean in practice for brands?
It means really looking at everything. Eco-friendly ingredients, biodegradable packaging becoming more common, ethical sourcing being non-negotiable.
And those labels, zero cruelty, toxin-free, dermatologist tested, they're becoming standard.
Increasingly, yes. Cognitive market research confirms they're moving from niche claims to basically the expected norm. Consumers are demanding it.
It's amazing how much values are driving purchasing decisions now.
It really is. It impacts every single stage, from how you source raw materials right through to how the consumer disposes of the packaging. Ethics are becoming as important as aesthetics.
What's the biggest hurdle for a big established brand trying to make that shift across, like, their entire range?
Oh, scale is a huge one. And cost, definitely. Plus, ensuring the product still performs just as well after reformulation that's technically challenging.
Okay, what else is trending?
Hybrid products are really taking off.
Hybrid, like what?
Think tinted balms that give you color and care. Or lip oils that leave a bit of a stain but are also super hydrating. Glosses with protective qualities. Multifunctional stuff.
Ah, connecting to that skinimalism idea. Beauty meets skincare.
Exactly. It's about getting color, care, protection, all in one swipe. Convenience and efficiency.
That makes sense. People want products that do more.
That desire for efficiency for multi-purpose items, it really makes you wonder how it'll keep reshaping the wider beauty market, right? Maybe even blurring category lines.
Yeah, it could consolidate things. Okay, one more trend.
Technology. It's completely changing how people shop for lip color.
You mean like virtual try-on tools?
Yes, augmented reality, AR try-ons are huge.
Oh.
They really boost confidence for online shoppers who can't physically test the shade.
I've used those. They're pretty good sometimes.
And then you have AI helping too, suggesting shades based on your skin tone, virtual beauty advisors. It's making the whole experience much more personalized and digital.
So the line between shopping online and in-store keeps blurring.
Absolutely. It's this ongoing convergence, creating more immersive, tailored experiences wherever the consumer is.
Yeah.
It forces brands to really think about their digital and physical presence together.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. Our deep dive shows the global lipstick and lipstains market isn't just sort of evolving, it's really transforming.
Right, dramatically.
And the insights from cognitive market research make it clear. Consumer desires are shifting hard towards sustainability, health, and using digital tools. It points to a pretty bright and bold future, actually.
And remember, these insights aren't just guesses. They're grounded in that detailed market intelligence, giving us a solid picture of this dynamic space.
So next time you reach for a lipstick, maybe pause for a second. Think about how this seemingly simple product actually reflects these huge shifts in our values and technology and global economics.
It's fascinating when you look closer.
It really is. And it makes you think, what other everyday item holds secrets like that if we just took a deep dive?